Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some really fun battles in the Master League Premier Cup, featuring Perfect IV Shadow MAGMORTAR. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. MAGMORTAR is a pure Fire-type Pokemon with the moveset of Karate Chop, Fire Punch, and Thunderbolt, and this trainer uses it on the save switch with a Chandelure closer. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Perfect IV Shadow MAGMORTAR in action in the Master League. Hopping to the first match, loading Dragonite into Machamp. Great lead, opponent save switches into Excadrill and going to respond with Chandelure. Chandelure able to do massive Incinerate damage, but Drill Run would be taking them out, so they are going to have to commit the shield. Farming up and going for the Flame Charge on what should be a CMP tied to the second Drill Run. Flame Charge does get the shield, and Excadrill is going to fire off Drill Run number 2. Chandelure committing that final shield, but is going to be able to farm down. Chandelure, no shields left, but the opponent must be weak in the back to fire because they're bringing Machamp into Chandelure. Flame Charge, big damage onto the Machamp. Machamp not quite able to reach a Rock Slide, and they should be able to tank the Cross Chop. Cross Chop, not enough to take it out, and it's Togekiss in the back. If Chandelure can get the shield here, then MAGMORTAR set up to Thunderbolt, able to get the shield. Down goes Chandelure, but now it is Shadow MAGMORTAR time. Shadow MAGMORTAR able to get to the Thunderbolt. Karate Chops do charge very quickly. Thunderbolt taking down the Togekiss, and that is a good game. Terrible lead in the next match, Dragonite into Sylveon. Going to immediately save switch into Shadow MAGMORTAR and baits out a Waterfall Gyarados. Gyarados dealing massive damage to MAGMORTAR. MAGMORTAR going for the Thunderbolt. It connects. Down goes Gyarados and gets the screenshot for the road. Shadow MAGMORTAR getting farmed down by Dragonite, reaches a last second Fire Punch, and the opponent commits the shield, not wanting to get hit by a second Shadow Thunderbolt. In comes Dragonite, now in a much better spot than it initially was. The opponent's Dragonite does have an energy lead, so going to need 2 double shield, and then I'm expecting the opponent is going to bring in the Sylveon. Opponent does get both shields. In comes Sylveon, and Sylveon is met with Chandelure. Chandelure does have a very nice matchup here, going for the Flame Charge as soon as they get it. Flame Charge does get the shield. Chandelure does get outpaced. This will be tough. Can Chandelure tank it? They go for the Moonblast, barely able to hang on, and firing back with the Flame Charge. Flame Charge from Chandelure almost takes down the Sylveon. Can Dragonite farm down? They're not going to risk it, and they're going for the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is going to take out the Sylveon, and there's a second Dragon Claw loaded to take out the opponent's Dragonite. Very nice energy management, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Dragonite into Mamoswine. Has 2 better responses in the back, so going to immediately save switch into Shadow MAGMORTAR, which is going to be met with Excadrill. This is typically not the best matchup ever for MAGMORTAR, but with an energy lead, MAGMORTAR should be able to flip it. Ends up being a CMP tie, shields up the Drill Run, fires back with the Fire Punch, and is able to get the shield. And with the energy lead, MAGMORTAR is going to be able to outpace Exca, reaching Fire Punch number 2, and grabbing the shield. Exca over farming, but they're just not going to be able to outpace here. Drill Run will get the shield, but MAGMORTAR is able to reach the final Fire Punch. This will be taking out Exca, and just like that, Shadow MAGMORTAR has taken back switch advantage. Opponent waits out the switch clock and brings in Mamoswine, and Mamoswine is forced to throw energy to avoid being hit with a Fire Punch. Avalanche takes them out, and in comes Chandelure. Chandelure trying to get to a move. They do get outpaced, but this should only be an Avalanche. Avalanche, not nearly enough to KO. Chandelure farms down what is in the back, and it is Magnezone, and this game is over. Chandelure at the back-to-back Flame Charges, able to absolutely unleash damage onto that Magnezone. Chandelure burning it all down, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, letting Dragonite into another Mamoswine. Same plan as last time, immediate save switch into Shadow MAGMORTAR, and the opponent responds with a Waterfall Gyarados. Shadow MAGMORTAR farming up and going for the Thunderbolt. Do they respect the damage? They do not! And Shadow MAGMORTAR able to take back switch advantage yet again. In comes Mamoswine to farm down, but Shadow Magmortar not done. Reaches a Fire Punch, big damage, and almost takes down the Mamoswine. In comes Chandelure. This should only be an Avalanche. Chandelure still does take quite a bit of damage, but is able to incinerate down. And in the back is Dragonite. Chandelure able to reach the Shadow Ball on very low HP. Opponent is going to have to commit the first shield, and now it is the battle of Dragonites. Dragon Breath versus Dragon Tail. Opponent does have an energy lead, so the question is, can he farm down before the opponent reaches 3 Dragon Claws? Going to commit the shield. This is going to be very close. Committing the shield on the Dragon Claw, going for the farm down, able to do so, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, letting Dragonite into the mirror. Definitely does need to stay in here because neither one of the back Pokemon want to see an opposing Dragonite whatsoever. Goes for the sneak and is able to get it. That is very nice. And now should be able to commit to the farm down before the opponent reaches a move, but then the game lags. It finally unfreezes and able to leave with a ton of energy. Opponent is going to bring in Magnezone, and Magnezone is going to be able to absorb the Hurricane. Hurricane, not going to be doing a lot. Safe switch into Chandelure, and the opponent has Togekiss in the back, so they are incredibly weak to fire. Going for the Flame Charge, may as well start ramping up those Incinerates. Chandelure applying a ton of pressure onto this Togekiss. Togekiss will have to commit the shield or take massive damage, which they do, and they get taken out. Back in comes Magnezone. Magnezone forced to throw, but Chandelure smelling blood in the water. They commit the shield, incinerating down, and that is a good game. Terrible lead in the next match, Dragonite into Togekiss. Going to need to immediately save switch into Shadow Magmortar, and in comes another Waterfall Gyarados. You absolutely love to see it. Shadow Magmortar going for the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt taking down the Gyarados, and yet again, a Gyarados falls victim to the wrath of Shadow Magmortar. In comes Chandelure. Chandelure is going to have to be mindful of the Ancient Power, but able to sneak an entire Incinerate as they throw. Chandelure farms up to 100, and now going to be able to apply a ton of pressure onto this Togekiss. Able to grab a shield, and going for Flame Charge number 2. Flame Charge, able to connect, and incinerating down. What is in the back? It is Garchomp, and able to reach a last second Shadow Ball. This is double boosted. Do they respect it? They do not, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, sending Dragonite into Snorlax. Very neutral lead overall, but going to want to stay in because you definitely don't want this Snorlax lined up against the Chandelure. Snorlax throws the Body Slam right away, and Dragonite is able to sneak through an entire Dragon Tail. Dragonite farming up and going for the Hurricane. This will do big damage onto the Snorlax if it lands, but Snorlax does respect it and commit the shield. Snorlax, again with the charge move timing, allowing Dragonite to sneak an extra Dragon Tail. There is a little bit of lag. Dragonite farming up and sneaks a third Dragon Tail through, going to commit the first shield, bank the energy, bring in Shadow Magmortar, and able to Karate Chop down. Opponent brings in Gyarados. Oh no, say it ain't so, Mr. Gyarados. Say it ain't so. Thunderbolt goes unshielded, and yet another Gyarados marked unsafe from Shadow Magmortar. Builds up to the Thunderbolt, but going to bait with the Fire Punch. Fire Punch does get the shield, but not able to reach a second move. Dragonite does have the Hurricane loaded. This will not KO, but it is going to do big damage onto that Togekiss, and that sets up a nice Incinerate farm down for Chandelure. Togekiss still trying to play it out, but all Chandelure has to do is shield up the Ancient Power, Incinerate down, and close out the match. Hopping into the next match, letting Dragonite into Gyarados. This depends on the Gyarados fast move. They save switch into a Togekiss and going to respond with Magmortar. The fact that they're save switching a Charmer, this very well could be double charm, so choosing to save the hard charm answer in Chandelure for what should be a second Charmer in the back. Unfortunately, Thunderbolt was not quite enough to KO. Magmortar commits the shield on the Aerial Ace, going for the farm down, may not have been able to Karate Chop down, so deciding to go for the Fire Punch. Fire Punch takes out Togekiss, and they're able to keep switch. Keeping switch advantage here is absolutely imperative. It is a waterfall Gyarados. Dragonite has a very nice matchup here. Going to be going for the Dragon Claw. Able to get the shield. Gyarados farming up a bunch. They bank energy, and it is double charm. It's Sylveon in the back, and Sylveon will be met with Chandelure. Chandelure farming up a ton of energy, and Sylveon is at a Psyshock. Chandelure can't really shield here, because if the Gyarados has Outrage, you have to save the shield for the Dragonite, and Chandelure farms up to 100 energy. Going to be going for the Flame Charge, and the opponent shields. They make a big mistake, because this second Flame Charge is now boosted. It's going to do big damage, and Chandelure able to farm down Sylveon. Gyarados able to waterfall down. They have a massive amount of energy. This could be an Outrage. They commit the shield, and it's an Aqua Tail bait. This is not looking good. Going to be going for the Dragon Claw, but this is not enough to KO. Dragon Claw does get the Gyarados low. Dragonite able to farm down before they reach it and get the win. Rough lead in the next match, Dragonite into Excadrill, going to save switch into Shadow Magmortar. Exca is staying in and going to fire off the drill run. Magmortar does of course need to respect it, and then can overfarm quite a bit before going for the Thunder Punch, but the opponent makes a very nice catch, catching the Fire Punch onto their Snorlax. Fire Punch does still do a solid amount of damage, and this Magmortar does have a lot of energy. Firing off Fire Punch number 2, able to connect, and trying to reach a third. Magmortar just able to outpace the Snorlax and reach a third Fire Punch. Fire Punch takes out the Snorlax before it's able to reach a move. Back in comes Exca, and it's going to be firing off another drill run. This Exca does have some leftover energy. They may be able to reach a move versus Chandelure, and they do. Chandelure is going to commit the final shield. So they're in a bit of a rough spot, down 2 shields to 0. It's Metagross in the back, and that is a good game. Hopping to the final match, leading Dragonite into Gyarados. Again, depends on the fast move. This one does have Dragon Breath. Save switches into the Shadow Magmortar. Gyarados banks a ton of energy and then brings in a Swampert. And this is basically worst case scenario if you are the Magmortar, as every charge move you have is resisted. Lands the Fire Punch and going for the harder hitting Thunderbolt, hoping that this can maybe put it into farm down range, but it does not. Swampert gets the absolutely overload on energy, and you just can't commit the shield at this point. Hydro Cannon is going to take out Shadow Magmortar, brings in Dragonite. Dragonite is going to have to tank a move, but then is going to be able to farm down. It is only a Hydro Cannon, so it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and back in comes the Gyarados. Gyarados does, of course, have Crunch. Crunch is going to do quite a bit of damage, and then going to fire back with the Dragon Claw, hoping to try and potentially grab a shield, and does, and now switches in the Chandelure. This is not a great spot to be in if you're the Chandelure. This Gyarados does have a very good matchup here, but Chandelure does have the shield advantage. Chandelure is going to farm up, trying to get to 100, just not quite able to get there. Going to shield up the Aqua Tail. They now have 100 energy and now going to fire off the back-to-back flame charges. These are going to be resisted, but they shield the first. This second one is now going to be doing more damage. Is this going to be enough to take out the Gyarados? Flame charge takes them out. In the back is Metagross. Chandelure, very low health, able to reach the flame charge. Chandelure surviving on low HP, taking down the Metagross, and that is a good game. All in all, some very cool battles featuring a perfect IV Shadow Magmortar in the Master League Premier Cup. Shadow Magmortar is definitely more of a fun pick than a pick for climbing the ranks, but I have really enjoyed seeing a lot of Gyarados get one-shot by electric attacks during this week, and Shadow Magmortar is no exception. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.